Friends, welcome to my channel. Today we are going to see how Power BI help us to transform the data. Transformation is really required and it's a very important tool because our data can be in any format in a variety of data source. It can be in form of report or it can be tabular or the rows of columns may be shifted here and there, and therefore a lot of transposition or modeling is required for to do on the data so that we get the data in the right format, and then based on which we can create a visualization. So Power BI is a very powerful tool which helps and solves all our data transformation problems. So for doing that, we'll click on get data, and let's get data from a file. So let's go to downloads and let's take this. Okay, and let's click on orders and load it. So till then the data gets loaded. Transformation is similar to the kind of Power Query we used to have in SQL. Okay, and here there are a lot of features. You just have to click on a button, and based on the button click, your data will be transformed the way you want. So for transformation, you have to go to the tabular section, that is a table, and here you have the option of edit queries. So once you go to edit queries, a new window will open. Okay, so here you have the transform section. Here in the transform section, you have a variety of options. Like for example, I want to make the use first row as a header. So I can do that. So now my first row is in header. Okay. This is a so towards the left side you will see all your tables. This is it, and towards your right side you will see the name, that is the properties, and then the steps that are applied. So now I applied a step called as used first row as the header, right? So I'll just remove it, okay, because that is not required. Okay, so now we have our data. So the first one is group by. So I want to group by my data, and the grouping I want to do based upon my shift mode. Okay, so group by shift mode, and also I wanted to based on sum of the profit. So I want to do that based upon the sum of the profit, and I'll give the name as profit. Okay, and I'll do an OK. So once I do an OK, you can see that based upon the class I get the profit. This is simple group by. In this way you can do a lot of group by the way you want by just clicking on a button. So again I'll just undo this. Okay, so we saw group by, we saw making the first row as a header or use headers as a first row. Okay, then we have a transpose option where you can convert the rows into columns. Okay, so now our rows are converted to columns. So again I do not want that, so I'll delete it. Okay, and then we have reverse rows. Invert this table row such that the last rows are displayed first, so it will reverse the rows. So now we will see the last row coming as first. Okay, and now we have an option called as count rows. So it will give the count of the rows. Okay, that is 9994. Okay, so we saw group by headers, transpose, reverse rows, and count rows. Then we have the data type. This already have explained before. So now this is my data type called date, and I can change this to text. So I can change this to text. So now date will get converted to text, but I can change this back to date, and when I change this back to date, it detects the data type, and yeah, so now it is date. I can also change it to date, time zone, etc. Okay, other data type we had, which we have here, is decimal, fixed decimal, whole number, percentage, date time, duration, text, binary, true and false. Okay, then we have the rename column option, where you can rename the column. Then we have replace values, like replace values. So fill I will explain later. Pivot and unpivot I will explain later. Move is just moving the column. So if I want to shift order date before order ID, I can do that. Convert to list is something like this. So I'll just convert shift mode to a list. Okay. And now I will just remove the duplicates. So now I have a lookup column which I can use for filters. So I can do that. That is more about the list, convert to list. Okay, then we have split column. So to explain split column, let's go and have a look at this product ID. So now I want to split the product ID. Okay, so by delimiter, and the delimiter is the first one. So we have three options: leftmost delimiter, rightmost delimiter, and each occurrence of the delimiter. So if I select leftmost delimiter, let's see what happens. So product ID 1 and product ID 2, we saw that the FUR got separated from the rest of the letters. Okay, similar thing will happen for when we do the rightmost delimiter. That is, we will have the 100, let's 1798. So I'll just do this again, and I'll select rightmost delimiter. So now we will have FUR hyphen BO in one column and rest value in another column. And now what we are going to do is, we are again going to remove this, and then we are again going to use the split option and split by delimiter, and now we are going to use each occurrence of the delimiter. So now what do you think it's going to do? So as the name suggests, it's going to divide by each occurrence. So we have first, second, third. So in this way you can do the splitting of your data, which is very good, which is very easily possible using the transform tab, and it provides a lot many options for that. So you can do lowercase, you can do uppercase, you can capitalize each word, you can use trim option, you can use clean option, you can add prefix, add suffix. So if you want to add prefix call 101, I can do that. So now a prefix will get added to the product ID. So that's about the formatting. Then you can extract the length, you can extract the first characters, last characters, text before the delimiter, text after the delimiter, text between the delimiter. Okay, and the last option we have pass XML and JSON, which we'll see in another demo. Okay, so that's all about the transform tab which we have in the Power BI. Now let's have a look at some example. So So also I wanted to explain the meaning of close and apply and close. Close and apply basically means that whatever transformation which we have done will be applied and the query editor tab will get closed. Okay, apply means it will only get applied but the query editor tab will not be closed, and close basically means that the changes will not be saved and it will get closed. I do not want to save the changes, neither do I want the data, because we are going to get data from another Excel and do some transformations in that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to delete this particular table, and once I delete the table I'm going to fetch data from another Excel. Okay, and that data is sample data. Okay, so now I'm basically going to load this data. So now the data is getting loaded. Until the data gets loaded, I will show you sample Excel. So here in the sample Excel you can see the sales of these devices based upon the country, and then we have them based upon the month and year. So this is the information, and so now the data is loaded. Now let's play with this data. So first thing which I would like to do is I'll have to go to edit queries. That will be always the first step. So for doing any transformation you will have to go to edit queries. Once you go to edit queries, I will do transpose. So I have converted rows into columns. Okay, now you can see that now for in this is null, but these values are again for India, right? Because you can see these dates are getting repeated and they are in a series. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use fill option. So what does fill basically do? So that's what I'm going to show you. So I clicked on fill down. So fill basically fills the value null based upon the current value till the next value is found. Okay, so that is the use of fill option. Okay, so now we are done with that, and now I want to make the type of device as my header. So I will use this option. So now that is my header, and now this will be my country. So I can just click here and rename, or I can rename it from here as well. I can just select the date, and then what I want to do is I want to unpivot them. So unpivot other columns. So now I have my data perfectly. So the country, the date, the type of device, and the sales. Thus in this way you can do all kinds of formatting using the query editor and the transform section in the Power BI. For any queries or issues with formatting of data, please let me know. Thank you. I will also be attaching the Excel uh, in the video's description. So those who guys are interested can download the Excel and can see how you can transform the data in the right format and generate charts. Thank you.